What is up, YouTube? JT here with a post-draft video. Before I get started, let me give shout out to my fellow content creators. Philly 500, Joey Shakes, Philly Mike in the podcast, Philly Fresh, Steve Hyder. Yo, y'all did y'all thing covering that draft. I mean, I thank all of you guys for the commitment you put towards covering everything. And Philly and Joey, I got the best laugh off the two of y'all when the AJ Brown news broke. I mean, that was like the funniest thing ever. But again, if you guys see this video, salute to you guys. Lots to be happy about. I absolutely love the first pick of Jordan Davis. This is a tackle like we've never drafted before. 6'6", 350 pounds. In the middle of that line to go with, Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox and Milton Williams in the second year. I'm just so stoked about that pick. I know a lot of the fan base wanted wide receiver or corner, I kind of did too, but Jordan Davis was the apple of my eye for this draft. The second round pick, Cam Jurgens, I really don't know much about him, but apparently Jason Kelce likes him to be his successor, so welcome Cam Jurgens. But the other big one, Nakobe Dean. And number 83, come on now. Who saw that coming? Don't lie, tell the truth. But just amazing, amazing value right there. Now, there are reports, about him supposedly having some sort of pec injury. And, he supposedly was supposed to have surgery or was recommended to have surgery, but put it off, didn't want to do it. But the Eagles, obviously, they feel comfortable with the medical information they got to make the pick. And this could be, about to do the obligatory quote-unquote steal of the 2022 NFL draft. The other guys we selected, not going to hold you. I know nothing about Kyron Johnson, the tight end they drafted. I don't know anything about those guys. But as far as what we did the first few days, I am totally happy. And, got to mention AJ Brown again. I have to sit here and say, I didn't think when I made a video, I think the last video I made was about 2 weeks ago, and I was talking about how DK Metcalf and AJ Brown weren't coming. Well, at the time I said that, it made sense to me that they weren't coming because, we had all this talent in the draft. And I felt that if the Eagles felt that hard pressed about getting a wide receiver, they would do whatever they had to do in order to move up in this draft to select one of these guys. But that didn't happen. And, well, when you get to the 18th pick, the Titans, for whatever reason, didn't want to pay A.J. Brown, or maybe they just couldn't afford to pay him all he wanted. And I'm so glad that this worked out, that we got him, because it puts an end to the trying to get a receiver in the first round, drafting the unknown. We were lucky, we're blessed with Devontae Smith, but, the whole Jalen Reagor thing, the miss with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in the second round 2019, I just had enough for striking out at that position. So this gives us a bona fide number one receiver, superstar receiver. He didn't have as good a year last year because he got nicked up a little bit, what have you, but we got a legitimate stud. This isn't going to be like, you remember the last time we traded with the Titans for a wide receiver, we got Dorial Beckham Green. And now listen, I don't want to curse, the Eagles with the name Dorial Green Beckham. I said his name, Dorial Green Beckham. And that was a horrible, horrible trade. We gave them Dennis Kelly. We thought we were getting the steal. Well, this time, I think we got over him. Now, Treylon Burks, it's all about projection. He could be the next A.J. Brown. He could be the next Dorial Green Beckham or what have you. But you know what? That's not our problem because we got the guy we need, that's going to just make this offense that much better. And I'm just totally, I was just so ecstatic on Thursday night. It was a good thing I didn't have to work on Friday because I was just blown away by what we did. Bring us up to more current news. I know a lot of you are upset about the Honey Badger. I mean, I personally, didn't really care about the push for signing Tyrann Mathieu. Like, if they did it, I would have been okay with it. But I'm even better that they didn't do it. I mean, it didn't take much to know the Eagles weren't. So then, especially if you throw in the contract extension that they just gave A.J. Brown, $100 million contract extension, to make that happen. They weren't going to spend $33 million on Tyrann Mathieu. Now, the Saints, well, for what the information was coming out, is where he wanted to go all along. I mean, that's been like the worst kept secret. He's from Louisiana. That's where he wanted to go. And I'm not knocking the Honey Badger. I mean, he's a great player. I mean, he's been really effective these last few years, but coming up on 30, I mean, I thought that, okay, fine. If they can make a deal that makes sense, them and the Eagles, then bring them on. But I'm glad the Eagles didn't do what the Saints did. Now, we still have holes, at safety and at cornerback. And, there's some names out there. I, watched, many different YouTubers, and I would comment. I brought up the name Kevin King, a possibility at cornerback. What's that kid's name? Fabian Morey, the former Washington corner. There are some, guys who are relatively young that we can bring in here, on a 1-year prove-it deal. Safety. I know a lot of people were talking about, Landon Collins. And let me say shout out to Steve Heidert again, because I left a comment on his videos. If you guys haven't seen it on Gate City Sports, go check out his video. He listed a number of safeties that could possibly be available. And I commented specifically on Landon Collins that, though he is only 28, he doesn't turn 29 until January. He's missed a lot of games over the last couple of years. Now, what I had said on Gate City's, when I replied back to him, is that seeing that the way the Eagles are operating right now, not really wanting to go spend a whole bunch of money on a free agent, it just seems to me, now I could be wrong. Now, they could be signing Landon Collins right now as I'm making this video. But that just seems to me like, I'm looking at the names out there. There are a few guys that I like, but when I really think about it, they could be looking at it like, you know what, we think Marcus Epps, can do about as much as these guys can do. And he's been in our system, for a couple of years, only 26 years old. And I will say this, I watched Marcus Epps closely. Now, no, there isn't a bunch of splash plays, and, he didn't, get a lot of opportunity. But he made use of the opportunity that he had last year, guys. I'm not trying to say that, he's the next, Ed Reed or anything like that, but he has some attributes. And I don't know who put this notion that Marcus Epps can't run. Marcus Epps can definitely run, and he has really, really good closing speed. You go back and you look at some of his plays last year and the limited opportunities that he got. You'll see that this kid has some ability. He has something to give. Now, let me say this, oftentimes, when we see players that show a little flash here, a little flash there, what happens when they're given more responsibility and more playing time? Then could he be exposed as, something not great? Very real possibility. But just me saying, I'm willing to see what Marcus Epps can do as safety. I know probably no other Eagles fan is going to agree with me on this, but I'm okay with giving Epps a shot to start. Now, that's not saying that I'm not saying they shouldn't bring in another safety. If they can find someone who they feel is an upgrade and could come in and help this defense out, then I'm all for it. By all means, do that. But I'm going to tell you, I'm somewhat of a believer in Marcus Epps. I might be in that little room by myself, but fine. Because if he does get a chance and proves me right, then y'all can give me my flowers. But anyway, getting back to the Kevin King thing. Kevin King. He was at Washington. Same time as Sidney Jones. He's had his moments with the Green Bay Packers, but he too has had a brutal go of it as far as injuries. But again, only 26 years old, and just like Landon Collins, if he's fully healthy at this point today, I don't see the harm in bringing him in to see what he looks like if they feel he fits what they like to do on defense. So, then there's also, the rumor of James Bradbury, possibly getting cut, from the New York Giants. The Giants, you know, even though I hate y'all as a football team, I hate the Giants, but y'all had a hell of a draft. And apparently they're looking to move on, from James Bradbury. So maybe he's an option, to put along with Darius Slay. I think we really be in business if, that can happen. But anyway, more cuts are going to come, more players are going to be available, once teams, finish sorting out what they want to do with their rosters, since the draft is over. And there will be an opportunity, to upgrade those two positions. And I do believe, it's like I said in my last video, I think Howie Roseman's a pretty good general manager. I'm not just saying it now, just go back and look at my last video. I said it then. I believe that he will stabilize those positions. All right, well, anyway, guys, I'm not going to keep you long. I just got off of work. I've been wanting to do a video for the last couple of weeks, but I've just been, busy. Every time I want to do it, I'll, something to come up. So, like I said, I just walked in the door from work a little bit ago. Figure I'll jump on here real quick, get this done. And you guys who see this video, watch, like, put a comment, and I promise real soon I'm going to make another video. All right? Peace.